Did Tyrese just say he wants to do leak code? Guys, Tyrese wants to do leak code.
Yeah.
Watch him do leak code, yeah. Anyways, apologies for the delay. Took us quite a while to get the stream all set up, but welcome to, I guess, how to game jam. So the whole purpose of what we're going to cover is mostly rules, etiquette. This could be your first hackathon. So I'll be showing you guys like how to navigate, how to be careful, especially with like the UQ Union rule changes this year. We have to tread very carefully with what we do. Otherwise, security will be knocking on our door. Anyways, to get started. So what is Game Jam? What is a hackathon? So the whole point of a hackathon is you come up with an idea. You can do it in a team, you can do it solo, and you try and build this thing from the ground up. And then at the end of the hackathon, you get the opportunity to present what you were able to make in the 2 days. And by the end of the presentations, you could win some prizes. So you'll win in both scenarios. If you don't get a prize, you get to learn a lot of new things, you get to make new friends, you get free, food included in your ticket, and you also get a project on your resume. If you do get a prize, you get a prize. And you also get judges validation, maybe a job out of it. There's been people who've gotten jobs out of hackathons. So yeah, there's a lot of reps that are gonna be there, try and impress them, but ultimately try and have fun. Okay, the meat of this presentation, we gotta be very careful with the rules. So I've introduced some new rules. I'll be releasing the rule document after this talk. It's roughly 16 pages long, but if you have time to read it, have a read. Okay, in terms of your team, it has to be tertiary students. You can't hire a game dev from Fiverr and get them to join your team for the 2 days. It has to be someone currently enrolled in university, preferably from the collaborating societies. Your team size can be as large as you want it to be. Ideally, make it 2 to 5, so there's like enough work to go around. If you have like a team of 30, I don't know what if you're trying to make a nuclear reactor or something, be a little bit realistic with like delegation. And only people registered with a ticket can commit to the branch or commit to your repository. If we see a commit from people who you haven't disclosed the GitHub name to be on the form at the end of the hackathon, and they're not registered with us, you'll be disqualified. Ground rules. Okay, this is just general etiquette because we don't want to get in trouble. Keep it nice and tidy, so clean up after yourselves. Try and, especially with bins, try not to use bins near like cafes or anything because those bins belong to the cafes. They'll get really pissy if you start overfilling them. Try and use, I think there's some bins near Mod West. There's a couple bins like down Hawken, etc. Try and avoid, using anything like we got in trouble because we use the lakeside bins, so try and not do that. There'll be toilets and showers located on campus, so if you do, if you stayed really late and you need to have a shower, there are showers on campus. You can come in the morning and have a shower as well. Ultimately, just try not to be stinky if you can. I mean, it goes a long way. Make sure that your devices and personal belongings are with you. So we are not personally liable if you lose any of your devices. I'm not saying committee is going to come and try and steal your MacBook Pro 16-inch, but there might be someone who will try to. So make sure you keep your devices on lock. Take care of yourself. I really don't want to have to call an ambulance because you had a heart attack because you had 5 Red Bulls in one go. Please, eat. If you don't want to sleep, that I guess fine, but your limits. Make sure you stay within your limits. If you are unwell and stuff is going on, please come to UQCS committee. I think we'll either be wearing jackets like this or we'll have UQCS committee branded merch. Just come find us. We will try and help you best you can, particularly if you might have consumed something that's not to your particular dietary. Please come to us as soon as you can. Okay, we'll be using room 301 and it'll be available from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. So for those of you that don't know where room 301 is, that's in AEB. AEB is if you just go that way, it's just past next to GP South. It's the room at the very back. It's the giant room at the back when you enter Advanced Engineering Building. That's where Hackathon will mostly take place. The reason we say it's 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. it's because with the new UQ Union rules, Overnight stay is not allowed anymore. And they even wanted to hire security at one point. So I would say from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., it's a UQCS event. After 10 p.m., it's not a UQCS event anymore. If you decide to stay there, that's on you, but you're not in any relation related to any of the collaborating societies. As far as we're concerned, it's a study session, a giant study session per se. Yeah, as we said, after 10 p.m. we have no responsibility over anybody. So, please take care of yourselves after 10 p.m. Nobody punch anyone. And then we'll make announcements in the Hackathon announcements channel. So if you want to keep tabs on when voting forms release, etc., please go in there. Yep.
GameJam announcements now. There's now a GameJam chat specifically as well. So there's a new chat just under the topics channels if you want to look for that, and then to practice. Feel free.
For the stream, we now have a GameJam channel, so try and look for that in the topics section. Again, if you have any questions, just hit up committee. We'll try and help you best we can. All right. Now, people are kind of confused on the theme. It's a game-themed hackathon. You can build anything that has to do with either the video game theme or a game itself. That can include mods, games. If you want to take a shitty course and make it fun, that's a game. If you want to make it into a game. If you want to make a cosplay, if you do want to make, I don't know, a particular character cosplay, if you have a sewing machine, that counts. Make anything in relation to the theme of video games or a game itself. That does include, for the cybersecurity people in the room, you can make cheats. So if you want to make cheats for video games, you can, but we do have a condition that we will get into in terms of submitting cheats. Yeah, okay. I'll talk about the AI generation rules because they were brought up. Now, the thing that I do want to explain, I'll start with what you can't do. Anything that uses agents or uses agentic calling, you cannot use. And what I mean by that is something that could basically read your entire repository in fair context and then be able to insert code into your code base autonomously without you having to do anything. So Claude Code, Cursor, in agent mode, Codex, you can't use those. But you're allowed to use the, say ChatGPT, the website, or Claude, the website. You can do that. Claude Cowork is also in that banned list because it's technically roughly agentic. So you have to use Claude Chat or OpenAI Chat. The reason we did this, because you can only put so many files in the website, and we ideally want you to use AI in a very responsible manner, in the sense of you use it in a directed manner. Where you're roughly stuck and you just insert the context that's relevant to make you unstuck, rather than, if you're super lazy and you just put in 2-sentence prompts, it's I'll just do whatever. I'll give you all the permissions to edit all my files or delete them, tab, 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 here's my project. So you can do that. You can't use agentic harnesses. So if you think, I'll just not use the Claude API, but I'll use Claude Code, the interface, and connect it to DeepSeek or something, you can't do that. You can't use agentic harnesses. You can't use API billing. So if you're, I'll just pay to win and just go to Claude API and use the API website, you can't do that for development. So if you're using it to create code, you can't do that because that circumvents pay to win. You have to buy either a pro or a max plan. You can't, drop $1,000 on API credits during the hackathon just because you can. But what you can use inline autocomplete. So the GitHub Copilot autocomplete, you can do that. The chat interface on the website, you can do that. Open source models, you can do that if they're local. Yeah, or online as well, you can do that. With assets, so what an asset is basically anything related to art, or if you want to make a rock, or the castle on the back, that's considered an asset. It's a static asset basically is defined as something generated to be used in a video game. I don't know what the exact term is, but it's just, think about it as a drawing, right? With assets, you can use anything available online. So as long as you don't violate any copyright laws. You can't use AI to make static assets. So say you're making a Pokemon game and you're telling AI, oh, make me a sprite of like Charmander and that sort of thing. You can't do that. You have to go online and find a sprite of Charmander or draw it yourself. But what you can do, dynamic assets are allowed to be generated by AI. What a dynamic asset is something generated while the game is running. So say a good example I had is someone came up to me with a card game, and basically it takes adjectives and words and turns them into like drawings. And then if you like stack the cards similar to Uno, you can combine like the photos together, and it uses AI to that's allowed. But the card itself, like the card asset, you can't generate that with AI. You need to go find it online or draw it yourself. That's the rules with asset making. In terms of, I'll go into prizes later. If you're going for the best art category or the best storytelling category, you cannot use AI whatsoever. Like if I catch you using it, you're disqualified straight up. So you can't generate anything with AI. You can only use it to brainstorm, but any output from AI is to not be seen in your final project for the best art category. Okay, we'll go through the weekend schedule. So Friday, come around 5 p.m. to 3:01, or particularly the lecture theater right next to 3:01. The hackathon will start at 6. And right before then, so John will be conducting the presentation. Team formation will happen during this open sort of ceremony. So if you don't have a team, you can come at 5 o'clock, and then by the roughly 5:30, 5:45, you can just go down to the bottom of AEB, and there'll be a team formation session to quickly build your teams, and there'll be dinner at 7. Same with Saturday, keep going at it. Lunch will be between 12 and dinner will be at 7. We'll be there and we'll announce on the microphone when lunch and dinner will be served. We'll get to that when we get to that. Sunday is a little bit more complicated, so we'll have lunch at 12. Showcase will begin at 2 p.m. So basically the hackathon kind of ceases around 1:30. We'll all hands off, can't submit, final git push, just send it back to us. Showcases kick at 2 p.m. So all the industry reps will come by and you'll get to basically demo your project in front of them. And then we will hopefully begin final presentations by 4 p.m. So that's when I think it's the top 3 get to present, and then the final prizes will be announced. We'll have prizes in the closing ceremony at 5:15, dinner at 5:45, and then, that's pretty much the end of it. So with presentation, we'll quickly go through a bit of etiquette. These are the projects you can work on. So all project work has to be completed on the weekend. If there's a commit before 5 p.m. on Friday, disqualified. Again, with the other rules, if you have a team member not in your team, disqualified. You can have your idea before the hackathon starts, but you are to not start the idea before the hackathon starts. That's not allowed. You guys must demonstrate, a decent product. You can't, write 2 lines of code and showcase it. Ideally have something tangible there, out of respect for the judges' time. And obviously, I didn't write that in there, but basically don't do anything extremely sexual or that could break, student code of conduct. So I don't know if your project is like a porno, don't do that. Please don't be very obscene. Try and keep it under R18 if you can. If your game has a sex scene, I guess okay, but don't make it the topic of the game. Don't make a sex simulator if you can. Huh? I am streaming. Yeah, I'm being dead ass. Yeah. Okay, presentations. So back on topic. It'll be 1.5 hours. Judges will walk around. With voting, we've changed it from hackathon. So the general public can only vote for people's choice. All other categories are only voted by the judges. You're welcome to walk around and check out all the projects, but the judges ultimately have the final say for all prizes except people's choice. People's choice are voted by the public. The reason we did this, execs are allowed to compete in this competition. If everyone's allowed to vote, I guess there'll be a lot of bias if the execs were allowed to vote for themselves. So the way we circumvented that is we removed voting for all categories except people's choice. You guys will be assigned a table. So I don't know if you've been to 301, but they have these little mini tables. You can grab one. There'll be whiteboards. You can write your team name on it and the prizes you want to go for, and then just have a brief overview of your project. You can bring monitors, bring any gear you need, and just have it in there ready to present. whatever you need for your demo. Say you have an XR game, if you can bring a VR headset for the judges to try. Bring whatever you need to make your project go. And the project doesn't have to be entirely software as well. Like if you're building like an IRL like mini racing game that runs on like a track, bring the gear you need to run the thing. And yeah, that's pretty much it for presentations. Where time image generation. Yeah, so that's what I talked about before. With AI generated, if it's generated at runtime, like while the game is live, that's fine, given it's a dynamic asset. And then try and keep version control if you can. So everyone needs a GitHub repository. So when you go sign in, make sure you have a GitHub repository open. A reason we do need this is we want to verify the integrity of all the solutions, right? We want to make sure everyone's following the rules, no one's cheating, and it tells us that your work is your work. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want to showcase these projects on our website. So if you do want, if you do win a prize or you want your project on our website, we ideally would like your GitHub link so we can put it on there and then everyone can see your project on our website. These are the prizes. So we got best overall at 1,000, people's choice at 650, and the rest are at 500, minus the best technical execution by Get Cracked at 350. So basically, yeah, our sponsors here have put their names to some of these prizes. With the best XR category as well by Noaction, they will be bringing, was it like a VR headset on the day that people can use to code on it? So if you do need a VR headset for an XR game, they'll be bringing it as well. And what was the best splat category as well? The next slide. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Noaction has decided, in partnership with Synergy, to create this new prize called Best Gaussian Splatter. God, I'm gonna have a field day saying this live. Basically, I don't know what Gaussian splitting is exactly, but we will publish the full rubric for this prize tomorrow. So you'll get to see it tomorrow. I'll put it in the rule set, hopefully by tonight. But basically, you'll have the opportunity to demonstrate if you do win this prize, you'll have the opportunity to demonstrate your project at the University of Edinburgh. So if you're interested in like XR and particularly Gaussian splatting as a technique, go for it. All right, FAQs, let's have a look at this. Yeah, what should you bring? Yeah, bring whatever you need, as long as it complies with university policy. Try not to bring, I guess like knives or anything sharp. Try and avoid that. Pretend it's an airport. Yeah, as we said with overnight stay, the venue will be open, but we are not responsible for anyone after 10 o'clock. So whatever you do, that's on you. You'll pay the repercussions for that. And I think that's pretty much the end of it. Any questions?
So I'm just wondering, to what extent can we have sex scenes in our game?
Okay. How do I elaborate? It's a bit rough. I think in the rules I've said no vulgar content whatsoever. But if it's part of the narrative, look, I don't want to shut down creativity, but as long as you're not committing crimes in your game, okay. As long as it's not perpetuating dark fantasies.
Can I bring that really quickly? Something I'll note, this is not an 18+ gated event. So minors will be present at this event. If you cannot show it to a minor, don't fucking put it in the game, please. Okay, thank you. Another thing that I'd also like to clarify really quickly is in terms of music assets, the same rules apply. Exactly the same rules on the previous slide, music assets apply to that as well.
Okay. Music not allowed in general. Like you can't generate it in general by AI.
That's what I mean.
Well, because art is dynamic. You can generate it dynamically.
Sure, okay, yeah, no AI generated music at all. Thank you.
One rule on the assets thing, we did decide to allow this. If you're struggling to generate assets in particular, you're welcome to go on Fiverr and pay someone to generate it for you. That's fine, as long as you're just generating an asset and you're not hiring a 40-year-old software engineer for 2 days. Good distinction. You're not allowed to hire people off Fiverr, but if you need, say, like a song for a particular project or like a boss battle theme, you can pay someone to give that to you, because then you basically own the rights to it and you can use it. and it's your money, so you do
And
you.
also cite that you've done that as well in your project itself, because otherwise, you know, it's pretty fucking clearly circumventional. So cite that you've done that. Anyway.
One more thing on the cheating thing, like in terms of like if you want to build an anti-cheat or if you want to build a cheat, there is a specific requirement we want in submission is by the end of the hackathon, you have sent a support ticket to the relevant game you've developed the cheat for, explaining exactly how the cheat works and showing them some of the code. If you don't have that in there, well, two things, you'll be disqualified from any of the prizes. And the second thing is that might violate university policy. So please, I'm sure if you're interested in this, you're interested in cybersecurity, practice cybersecurity principles in which, if you find a vulnerability, report it, don't keep it to yourself. I think that's it.
I'll also add something really quickly to that as well. In games that cheating is not enforced on, such as Minecraft and otherwise, it is also okay, given that there's like 4 million open source Minecraft cheats. That is free use, feel free to do that. If it's something... Yes, can't sell the cheat. If it is something that does have an active anti-cheat, like Valorant or CSGO or anything VAC, EAC, otherwise protected, you are not allowed to use, develop cheats on that. That's a simple hard ban. No. If you don't feel like developing a cheat for something like Minecraft or otherwise, you can, this was suggested by the Riot rep that we have, you can go on Unity and use the standard environment that they have there and then develop cheats just using the standard multiplayer environment that they have. It should be enough to actually show that you've done something. Though if you do want to make it a little bit more of a spectacle, find a game that does actually allow you to do that.
Any other questions? Cool. Hey? Pizza at 5:45? 4:45. Okay. Trying to think of what other rules did I write in there. Is it, do we have it on the computer? Oh, true. Yeah, I can just end the stream here.
Yeah. And then we'll go through it all.
I have it on my laptop.
You can turn it up on here. I don't know how to do this work. I'll clarify, we're just getting the actual rules document up so that we can show you guys. We're just ending the stream really quickly.